conservative values here, constitutional conservative values. And understand, maybe we should come up with something different. It's not really constitutional conservative values. And I don't want to put the label on it like this kind of label on it, but let's be frank. This is Judeo-Christian conservative values. It really is. These are values that have worked since the dawn of time. And I know that there are people out there that say, well, Judaism is only like 6,000 years old, Rod, and we know that man's history goes farther back than that. Well, I'm not going to get into an archaeological debate with folks. I saw a meme earlier today that said, basically it had Jesus, a depiction of Jesus, and Jesus was trying to shoo away the dinosaurs. The meme was basically saying that Christianity had a problem with dinosaurs and was trying to shoo them away. But the problem is that they don't know the Bible. The Bible actually talks about giant creatures. And it even gives a name to some of them. And the most famous is Leviathan. Jonah was swallowed by what we call a whale, but it wasn't a whale. It was a dinosaur. It was a precursor to whales. And we happen to know that there are, mega gigantic creatures that swam the ocean. So the Bible doesn't try to shoo away dinosaurs. The Bible talks about them. But this notion of where we come into problems, I guess, is where we fit in with Judeo-Christian ethic and the timescape. Now, there is something called a Christian science or Christian archaeology that explains on a scientific level why the earth is not as old as secular science say it is. And it's just a theory, but it's no less plausible than the theories that are put forth by the secularist. And actually, when you start to actually look at this theory and think about it and look at the evidence of the theory, you start thinking, well, maybe this theory is more accurate than the secularist theory. Because the secularist theory, it goes along with evolution. And the way they explain all of this is to introduce this absolutely incredible amount of time. Now, if you paid attention to the program last night, you know that I talked about that time doesn't really exist. It doesn't exist. Time really doesn't exist. And I just had a couple of callers on the line. Give us a call back if you were just calling. Give me a call back. I have been having trouble with the connection between Skype and the program, and I hope that we had fixed it. But if you're running into troubles, just give me a call back, and I will put you directly on the program. We just had two different callers, which is unusual for the program at this stage of the program. But I don't know what's wrong with the interface, but hopefully thought we had fixed it. Maybe we haven't. I don't know. I'm not a computer guru. I try, but I'm not a guru. But I told you about the difference. And for crying out loud, it just told me you know what? If you tried to call, and folks, if you're trying to call into the program tonight, I do apologize. I just got a ping, and it told me that there's a problem with the connection, the playback device. Now, I got that before. I don't know why that is or what that means, but during the break, I will try to fix it, and I'll let you know if we get it repaired. So if you're trying to call and you tried to call already, please hold on until after the first break. Actually, you know what? Hold on until the second hour. Give me some time to try to go back and look up what I thought was the solution and try to use that solution again. It came about because there was an update. Microsoft and a few other software devices that I use had updates, and ever since those updates, I've been running into problems, and I apologize. Even though I didn't write the software, but there's supposedly supposed to be fixes to that, and I thought I used those fixes, but it didn't. Evidently, it didn't work. I apologize. But, this whole notion that the earth is only, the Bible doesn't say the earth is only 6,000 years old. It does, and that's what we constantly get pounded with. From a Judeo-Christian perspective, we're pounded. Oh, yeah, and the planet's only 6,000 or 7,000 years old. No, the Bible doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. It talks about man's existence on the planet. And it doesn't say that man has only been in existence. And I know there are people that have tried to go from Adam, because the Bible mentions the amount of years that certain biblical characters have lived, and they try to use those to date how long the Bible says man has been here, and they've come up with this number of 6,000 years. Well, the Bible really doesn't say that. It doesn't. It doesn't give us a time frame of 6,000 years. If you were to actually try to scope it out, you'll find that there are some missing time frames in there, because it doesn't go from one to the next to the next to the next to the next. It doesn't. Just doesn't do that. And there's also the time frame when time is split by Noah. It doesn't go from the next to the next generation, the next generation, the next generation. It doesn't go like that. So we don't know the exact amount of time, but let's just say it's 6,000 to 10,000 years. So maybe maximum you can stretch this out as 10,000 years. Well, this whole notion that we can trace mankind back to 1 million years is, again, I'm not going to get into an archaeological argument, is false, because they're trying to tell us that these creatures that they're digging up are precursors to man, when there's no evidence whatsoever that these, like Neanderthals and all the others out there, and Lucy and all those kind of guys, there's no evidence that puts them in relationship with man any more than apes are. And I know we constantly, hear the old stuff that, man graduated from the goo to the zoo. And when they say that, they're talking about that man's, precursor is the ape. But the funny thing is about evolution is that in evolutionary theory, all the modern day creatures, all creatures of today, their so-called ancestors or prehistoric ancestors or precursor to them today, they're all extinct. So how is it that man's ancestor or beginnings is the only creature on the planet who still has them around in the form of apes? Now, then there are people that, the weird thing is that actually, as far as modern day is concerned, man has more in common DNA-wise with the pig than any primate. So I'm trying to figure out why it is that we haven't had any scientists just come out and say, well, man evolved from the pig. And look, you don't have to believe, just go check it yourself. This is the stuff that I read I read a bunch of stuff. And I watch a lot of scientific video, not on YouTube, scientific video because I go to scientific websites and I just have interest in a lot of different things. So I see a lot of different stuff. I'm not an expert. I'm going to admit it. I'm not an expert in all this stuff. I'm more of a jack of all trades. I know enough about a lot of different subjects to make me dangerous. Really. It's because I have a broad interest in stuff. And I like outer space. I like space stuff, and there's this thing that the scientists, astronomers think that they found an alien structure surrounding a distant star. Did we find alien life? Well, two things with that. Two problems. One, we don't know what it is, so it's probably a natural occurrence of something that we just haven't seen before. Yeah, because this universe is huge, tremendously huge. I mean, huger than huge. And there's a lot of things out there that we haven't seen before that exist. And two, we're looking, centuries and centuries into the past. So the whole notion that we're thinking that, well, we've found possible alien life. No, even if there are aliens and we're seeing their structures, it's most likely that they're not alive and don't exist anymore. If you want to take secular science at their word, there is no God, or if there was a God, he created the entire universe and he just didn't create mankind. It was just bang. He just said bang, and there everything was, and let it go. And that's kind of like the intelligent creation theorists. They want you to believe that that's what God, this God, who probably isn't alive anymore, this God just created everything out of a big bang and then just left it to evolve on its own. So if we want to take secular science to its full level, it means that at some point, our civilization, mankind, is going to end, whether by our hand or by natural causes. Doesn't matter. It's going to end. Mankind is not going to survive for if you just follow, secular scientific reasoning. It may happen 1,000 years, 2,000, 5,000 years from now. It doesn't matter. At some point, we're going to run our course before the sun explodes. And the sun is going to die someday. It basically explode and kill everything in the Milky Way. But that's far into the future, so we think. I mean, who knows? The sun could just decide to explode tomorrow. We don't know. But we have certain scientific theories and evidence that tell us, well, it's going to be a while. And mankind is probably not going to be around when that star death happens. So therefore, it could be, a million years from now, somebody on some distant star somewhere is going to be looking our direction and see, say, hey, guess what we found? They'll be telling their people, hey, guess what we found? We found, possibly something, some alien stuff, flying around the sun, around this planet, around this one particular star in this distant galaxy. Of course, they won't call it the Milky Way because they don't know what we call it. And, there's life out there now. We know that there's life. When actually, we'll be long gone. Just stuff I think about. Just stuff I'm talking about. And I bring this stuff up mostly on a Friday. That's why I'm going to call it something different than, this is Rod Eccles Show, and at the Friday Follies, or Free For All Fridays, or Open Mic Friday, or Friday Fun. Those are the four choices you got that you're going to be able to choose from. So stick around. I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight. Going to do something from my Facebook feed on my Facebook page. And some interesting stuff that you're going to want to stick around for.